Okay, here Adriana, are you ready?
Yeah.
Then I suggest we will start. All dear participants, on behalf of the project team of the TUE, Gerard van der Watering and Diana Vinke and myself, Michael Bos, we would like to welcome you to this roundtable session. We feel very honored that you're with us here today. And we're looking forward to have an informal, but also a very good discussion on the challenges of a curriculum-wide innovation like CBL. To explore this topic a little bit further, challenge-based learning, as we view it, is a rich learning experience in which we invite students to not only apply, but also acquire new knowledge, new skills, new attitudes, while experiencing to work as an engineer on a real life open-ended challenge, like the solar challenge, or for instance, developing solutions to minimize the impact of COVID on society, that kind of solutions. And challenge-based learning plays an important role in our university's vision on education in 2030. And presently the university is making small steps towards realizing this vision. And what we experience when we are realizing this vision is a number of challenges. And the purpose of this meeting, of this roundtable session, is to discuss with you these challenges, and we would like to invite you to share some of your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas on how to deal with these challenges. Do you have any questions for us in advance? And Gerard and Diana, if I forget something, please add whenever you think it's right. What we would like to do first is to do some kind of short introduction round, but we will use a video of our vision on education in 2030 as a starting point. And we would like to show you that video. Let me share my screen. Everyone see the screen by now?
Yes.
Okay, great. We'll have just a short introduction round, and I would like to know your name, where you're coming from, but also after seeing this video, what you think is appealing in this vision. And often a vision is described from an organizational point of view, but this time the vision is described from a student perspective. And we would like to know and to learn more about what you think is appealing in this video, and how this relates to curriculum innovations at your place. So please have a look at the video first, and then we will start the introduction round.
Abby gets up early every day, usually woken at around 5 a.m. by her wearable AI personal assistant. She's very excited about the challenge she took on the day before, together with some students in China: how to feed 50 billion people. She reads their input before going for a shower, and while she's having her environmentally friendly printed breakfast, she formulates and sends them her response. In this 24-hour global economy, she's curious to know whether her team members in China managed to make any progress with the challenge while she was asleep. Before leaving the house, she does some background reading, identifies issues she'd like help with, and prepares for the virtual hangout conversation that she has at 10 a.m. This is also the time for her first freshly brewed cappuccino of the day. In the afternoon, she goes to the physical virtual hangout, the hub on the Eindhoven campus. This is where students who so happen to be in Eindhoven can get together to share information, discuss challenges, cook, eat, go to the gym, or just meet and make friends. Abby sees that her mentor is online and has given her feedback on the YouTube film she posted on her portfolio page. Today's mentors are what we used to call lecturers and more. They encourage, they coach, they are a sounding board, but they also set boundaries and standards. He helps Abby and her team to think and work in a scientific way, and she can approach him for expert advice. Abby has extensive personal contact with her mentor, but also via VR and AR. Holograms of teachers are beamed into the project room from the other side of the world. Technology has removed barriers and created unlimited opportunities. Language, location, and time are no longer a problem. And barriers between disciplines have also disappeared. The challenge team members can meet physically and virtually, can work asynchronously, and are very flexible, interactive, highly efficient, and contemplative. Abby visits the lab on the Eindhoven campus, where she conducts some experiments that she and her international team worked out. Her mentor talked her through various options for the challenge she's now working on. Abby is rated on the basis of her challenges. Her records show how good she is at particular skills and the degree of difficulty of the challenges she has completed. She receives a message from the United Nations with the fantastic news that the Mobile Water Treatment Systems Challenge she worked on has resulted in an amazing project in South Sudan. Then there's time for the gym, where Abby continues to let her thoughts wander to growing crops in dry areas, while Peter, her personal trainer robot, helps her with her workout. While on the treadmill, she listens to an evening class in the US. After a quick chat with her teaching bot about which nutrients are essential for humans, Abby goes off to the pub in Eindhoven for a drink with friends. Some things will never change.
Okay, there was just a short video, just an example of a day in the life of a student in 2030. And we would like to use this as some kind of an example on our introduction round and learn more about your curriculum innovation as a starting point for our discussions after this. So where can I start? Let me start with our colleagues. Diana, Diana, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I'm a policy advisor for education, and more in particular for innovation in education. And I was one of the people in a small group of people who started thinking and dreaming about education in 2030. And one of the results is this short video. So.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit more about what you like in this video?
What I like is that it's really set in the future, but in such a way that you can imagine that developments in the years to come will move towards the picture or the vision that is in the video. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Diana. Gerard, can I invite you to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello. Can you see me? Because it or not? No. Okay. It doesn't work for me then. The video. I'm so sorry. I'm not visual here. Well, like Diana, I am also a policy advisor for education, well, I'm very interested in CBL, of course, because I think that's the curriculum for the future. In order to deliver our vision on engineers for the future. So, well, that's what I like in this video, that we try to picture what it's like to be a student for the future. So then we have a triangle.
Okay, thank you, Gerard. Let's move on in the list, and then the first name I see is Clement. Can I invite you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you like in the video?
Yes. So I'm currently Associate Provost and Dean of Education at Polytech in Moscow. I come from a long experience at École Polytechnique in Montreal in engineering, mechanical, and aerospace. And what I like into this video is that, of course, it's an excellent future look at possibility of student learning. And my question is, okay, how do we make sure in this environment that we have fundamentals and also capability of interdisciplinarity at the proper level? So yeah, I'm very interesting and looking forward to discussion.
Okay, thank you, Clement. And the next person I would like to invite to introduce himself or herself is Anna, a colleague. Hello, Anna.
Hi, I'm Ana Valencia. I'm also a colleague from TUI. I'm working currently at Innovation Space, and I'm working as an educational design researcher, heavily involved in the design of interdisciplinary challenge-based education at the university at the bachelor level. And what I liked about the video is really this vision where students are empowered to just develop themselves in ways that they want, that they dream of. That for me is really key in challenge-based learning. How to empower the students, how to give them the tools, how to support them in this process. And I like this shift from teachers, lecturers to mentors. I really like that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Anna. And next person, Anders. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you like in the video?
Yes, hello, I'm Anders Rosen from KTH, Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. I am Deputy Director of the KTH Global Development Hub, and there our starting point there is the Sustainable Development Goals, and that in light of those goals, all countries are to be considered as developing countries. And we have joined forces with 4 African universities, and there we are collaboratively developing a concept for challenge-based learning and creating conditions for our students from Sweden and from the African partner countries to collaborate on various societal challenges, both in Sweden and in the African partner countries. What I liked with the video was, for example, this collaboration between your students and students in China. I also like these ideas of breaking the disciplinary boundaries, and also, as Anna, this vision of students' empowerment and self-directed learning. I also have some questions and maybe critique also against the video, but I can wait with that for the later discussions.
Okay, that sounds very interesting, and looking forward to hear your thoughts, but also your critiques on this. Thank you. Isabel, can I invite you to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, I'm Isabel. I am from EPFL, Polytechnique Lausanne. And I am pedagogical advisor in charge of the program assessment for the cycle bachelor and master. And what I like in the video is the vision of empowerment of students and the vision of students as a world citizen, and with link to sustainable development too. It's what I keep of the video.
Okay.
And also the lecture as a mentor is interesting.
Thank you, Isabel. Also very interesting. Look forward to the discussion with you. And we have 3 persons left, and myself, of course. Lamjet, do I pronounce your name correctly? I'm not hearing Lamjet.
Okay, Lamjed.
Lamjet. Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciated the video, but what I found important in this video is the exercise. Because when we are now with the technology, we are a tendency to be on site, to be around the tables, to be not making exercises. This morning I was watching a video about neuroscience and oxytocin and neurogenesis. And all of them recommend the exercising. I said that we are exercising, right? Making movements. We have a cognitive, let's say, our cognitive strength are at their most. So it's a good thing to have this connection to technology and this kind of exercising this video. I appreciate it very well.
Okay. Thank you for that contribution. And then we have two people left. Ramon, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ramon Bragos. I'm the Associate Dean on Academic Innovation at the Telecom Engineering School of UPC, Technical University of Catalonia, and responsible of the project-based courses, including a challenge-based learning course. And what I liked in the video is the equilibrium between online and remote modalities and contact with the colleagues. Is the result of one of the projects our students did. It was that the contact with teachers and learning could be online, but the contact with the other students should be face-to-face.
Okay, interesting. And finally, Tamar, can I invite you to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Tamar. I'm a lecturer at FECA College for Engineering in Israel and other universities. I teach math courses. And I liked more in the video, the slide, the sentence, that the teacher, the lecturer, is a mentor, because I think that most of the video is not too far away from nowadays, but this sentence is really far away, at least from the places that I know and what I'm familiar with. We quite teach in traditional ways, and I don't think that myself is a mentor for my students, and I would like to be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tamar. Well, it's good to hear that the vision is not so far away as we think it is. I will introduce myself also. My name is Michael Bots. I work as a program manager at the University of Eindhoven, working on a TUE-wide challenge-based learning program. And the goal of that program is to enable the university to make evidence-based decisions on how to apply CBL, not just as a teaching method, but as an educational concept. And this is really also one of our biggest challenges. And I would like to discuss this challenge a little bit further with you. So what we did and what we suggest for the remainder of this session is we selected 4 main challenges on our road towards implementing CBL as an educational concept. And let me see if I can share my screen again. I hope everyone can see the screen.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we selected 4 main challenges, and of course these are not the only challenges you can think of, but I think these are important challenges which we are facing in that steps we are taking towards realizing that vision. And it's a challenge for designing a curriculum as a whole, as an educational concept. A challenge for learning of new attitudes, and do all students apply and are capable of this kind of learning. A challenge for the teaching, new roles of teaching, coaching, and a challenge for assessment. And what we propose to do for the remainder of the session is to choose one of these 4 challenges. We would like to suggest start with the first one, and then it's up to you to choose one of the other three challenges. So the first, if that's okay for you, is everyone okay with that choice? And we would like to present every challenge with a short video. We already saw this video. Present you with some questions. And when you look at the video, for instance, of Abby and a day in the life of a student in 2030, you can see that everything is connected. And what we believe in is challenge-based learning. To really have an impact on the learning of students, it shouldn't be taught just in one course. It should be taught as an educational concept on a curriculum level. So for educating our engineers of the future, designing a new curriculum is essential. And we would like to know more about your experiences. And if you have only experience with designing on a course level, what is your view on challenges that may occur when you redesign the total curriculum? What are the possibilities? What are the hurdles? Please let us know. Perhaps Diana or Gerard, could you share some of our experience?
I can perhaps also speak from our experience, also at Innovation Space at the TUE. So I think when of course I only have experience in the design of within one specific project or module, if you will. And I think that it links back to assessment, but I think one of the biggest challenges is also to define what is the intended learning for the students at the curriculum level, so that when students start their trajectory in the first year of their bachelor's, that we have a clear view of what are the competencies that we want the students to develop when they engage in challenge-based learning. I feel like at the moment that we address that at the module, but I think it's important to have this good perspective and vision at the curriculum program level. Yeah, if we expect students to engage in this type of education, then what do we want them to learn through that?
Yeah, I totally agree, because I think it's about also changing attitudes of students. We're inviting them to be self-directed learners. You can't teach to be self-directed learner, for instance, in just one course. You need a whole curriculum, inviting students to take more and more ownership of their learning.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious what the experiences are of other people at other universities. Do you have experience when designing for a whole new innovation on a curriculum level?
I can tell that in our school, at the telecom school, when designed at curriculum level, we're able to put slots of like 6 hours in a given day every week to do that kind of projects, and this gives a lot of flexibility to allocate different kind of those courses. But now when we are trying or starting to do interdisciplinary courses with other schools that do not have this scheme, is really difficult to fit. And then we have to do what we call intensive weeks. So the students are losing other classes to be able to do that kind of project courses, or even doing it on the weekends. Okay, so it's needed or a flexibility in the schedule, or reserved weeks or days in the weekly schedule, or in for example, at the beginning or at the end, or being allowed to miss other classes. But if we have had several blocking blocked opportunities because of this.
Yeah. So if I understand correctly, you mentioned two different things, different starting points for students. but also all kinds of organizational issues when designing for a new curriculum.
You know, into a single curriculum I think is really possible. The thing is, if you want to do cross-set activities with other curriculums, with other engineering or schools, or with other even other schools, business schools or design schools that have even other calendars.
Yeah,
so it's an issue every semester.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so those two are those the only ones? Anders, I see you raise your hand. Please tell.
Yes, thank you. We are not working on a curriculum level yet. We are aiming there, but we are more working on course level now. And I'm running teacher training, so supporting teachers in developing, we call it challenge-driven education, but it's very similar to challenge-based learning.
Mm-hmm.
I agree there with Ramon that there are like structural barriers or challenges, because I think challenge-driven education or challenge-based learning has to be developed in an experimental kind of way, that teachers are trying out elements of challenge-based learning and evaluating it and refining it and enhancing it further. And that kind of experimental approach to pedagogical development is to some extent prevented by the formalities regarding formal course documents and things like that. So that is one challenge that I see. Another challenge is this breaking the disciplinary boundaries. I think Ramon was also into that. How do, because our university is completely program based. So the students who are in programs, they develop all their pre-knowledge, and then challenge-based courses generally show up towards the later phases of education, and there are a lot of prerequisites. So it's very difficult to allow students in, and it's difficult to handle students coming from several different directions. Or I experience teachers who I'm supporting, they see those difficulties. So I have many other challenges, but I can leave it. I can come back to it later.
Really interesting, and I was really interested in being a teacher trainer. How do you involve all teachers, not just the early innovators, but also the other teachers? And I'm wondering, do you have any experience with that?
Yeah, as I said, we are collaborating with 4 African universities, and there are some differences there. At KTH, we have some teachers who are really champions in working with project-based learning. So there we have mainly addressed those and supporting them in transferring their project-based courses, which are generally in collaboration with industry and which are often product development related, and supporting them in enhancing elements of sustainable development, for example, and enhancing collaboration with other types of external stakeholders, for example, public sector and the general public. So there we have mainly started working with the teachers who are already in it, so to say. But we welcome any teacher to the teacher training. So we also have teachers who enter with more traditional courses and start experimented or infusing some elements of challenge-based learning. At our partner universities, the education is more traditional, I would say, more lecture-based and so on. So there we are working with teachers who are really getting into this for the first time, and it takes a little bit longer time, but yeah, it's progressing as well. But we're running our idea. This is not an aid project, so we see our partner universities as equals, and that we are co-creating this concept. But practically, the experiences among the teachers are a little bit different now in the beginning.
Okay, thank you, Anders. Okay,
yes, Michael, I agree there with Anders there that what we need to train from my own experience at École Polytechnique of Montreal, when you do a large scale implementation of projects of this sort, there'll be some slow. We need to take the time to let people realize what it is and learn, and the time it takes time. It takes like you say, Michael, some of them will be early adopters and they'll jump in. Some others will look at it in the neutral, and some will resist. But even those that resist, if there is a need to deliver a project, my experience is that they learn eventually and they will get in, but it takes efforts and good support. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Do you have any comparable developments or innovations in your university, Clement?
Now we're looking to start multidisciplinary projects in the coming year. So, but we have masters only and PhD. So at the master level, we don't have. Yeah, we do have multidisciplinary projects because we recruit broadly from the students. So in one program, like I'm involved in the space program and engineering systems, we have students from electrical, mechanical, software. So the students are multidisciplinary by there. So we recruit broadly we bring them in from its different disciplines. So obviously it's there, but we don't do it yet across programs. And this is the goal.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Clement. Any additions? So we talked about challenges in assessment, in differences between students, organizational issues like breaking interdisciplinary boundaries, and the importance of involving the teachers, that it takes time and that we need to take a step-by-step approach. What kind of questions would you have for us to share? What do you think is the most challenging in your situation?
The question I had, I said it originally. And by the way, there's something I really like in your vision of 2030 is this personal relationship with students, but also with the faculty as a mentor. Of course, there are some limits of resources to do this, but it's I like the personal. I think Ramon said it too. I think the personal relationship. My question is about how could we get the fundamental learning through this is my question. I see it as an evolution throughout the program of more and more of those, more than starting from more standard teaching techniques or at least making sure that the basics are there and then developing this more and more self-learning. And I think we need to, my question is, how do you make sure all students are on board? I can see in your vision that very good students would love that. Exceptional students would love that. But how do we bring the whole class forward, and how do we support them to embrace this approach, this empowerment, or this individual, this ability to develop your own skills? It's a little bit like we do at the PhD level. At the master level, yes, some, but I mean, to me, to be fully in this mode, it's very interesting. But how do you do it? This is my question.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because it has to do, I think, with giving students freedom to make their own choices, which fit their personal purpose. What kind of engineers do I want to become? What kind of problems do I want to solve? And I think it's also a challenge for the teachers and the coaches. For those students who do not have that purpose, how can you invite them to think of challenges which are in their zone of proximal development? And for students who need more structure and who need more guidance, give that extra guidance. And for students who just need freedom, provide them freedom and challenge them with extra criteria. But it's a really interesting question. I'm very interested in what other people think of this. Do you think challenge-based learning is a good solution for all students? And how do we involve all students? Jana, you know, can you share some of our experiences? Or I see Anna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I want to share an experience, but it was more a comment on Clement's observation, because I fully agree with that concern. And personally, that's why I think it's so important that we think at the curriculum level. Some of the learning that we expect of the students, you know, like self-directed learning, reflection, those are acquired skills. And that's something that we observe as well very much when we have the students engage in interdisciplinary education at the end of the bachelor. You see the differences between the different disciplines. Students that come from a program where self-directed learning and reflection is more embedded in their programs are much better at these activities than students that have not had contact with these kinds of learning activities, or that have not learned how to reflect on their learning. So I do feel very strongly that that's something that we can teach all our students, but then it's important to think across programs and to align across programs about what we expect the students to learn and how do we expect them to learn. What kind of activities can the students engage in? How can we support them, no matter where discipline they're coming from? So yeah, I do feel strongly that this is, of course, that there will be some students that are that have a profile that they're more like entrepreneurial maybe, but I don't feel that we should make distinctions of students that have a better profile for challenge-based learning or not. I think it depends on how we set it up at the curriculum level.
Okay,
yeah, I agree. I really agree. My concerns are not bigger or stronger for challenge-based learning than current educational models. And I have quite some experience with industrial design at our university, where self-directed learning is really at the core of the program, and all students can learn it, can learn how to learn this. And what you see, of course, is that different students achieve different levels or different stages of development, but that's in the end the same as or the same as a situation now. When students graduate, they are not all like straight A's, and they don't have the exactly the same package of knowledge. So that there are differences among students, and that's also in a setting such as challenge-based learning. And I also agree that expectations are important. So if you expect little from students, then they will show little. So it's really crucial to that's something that you can use. You can tweak expectations, and I think it's an advantage over the current situation is that you can really tap into students' interests and motivation. I think much more and much better than in the current situation. So I'm really enthusiastic about it.
May I add something? Michael, may I add something about this topic? Because I think it's a very interesting observation. I think matching students with the approach is important, because what we have learned from for instance, problem-based learning is that preferences and perception of the approach, learning approach, is affecting the outcomes. So I think students have to be aware about what they are starting if they start a program in a challenge-based learning format.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are, you mentioned and Diana mentioned and other people mentioned, a number of elements which contribute to make this a good solution for all students when you apply it on a curriculum level. So it needs more elements. Anders, I see your hand raised for quite some time now, so please add something to the discussion.
Yes, question to you that I got from your video, the introductory video. To me, it was very technology optimistic and it looked expensive. And also that the student remained either at campus or in the virtual world, not out in the society. So could you comment on your thoughts there?
Okay.
For example,
Yeah.
regarding
That was
inclusivity, will all students afford that kind of educational setting, for example? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts there about the design of the video and in relation to your activities.
Yeah, that was the critique you had on the video, I think. Okay, well, the video was just an example. I think our vision starts from innovations contributing to real-world open-ended challenges. So the outside world is the beginning of the learning, and it should be brought into the university as a real-life open-ended challenge, offering lots of learning experiences. And I think it connects both the on-campus education as well as the online education. So it needs to be incorporated really well. But at Eindhoven, we really believe in the power of an on-campus education. We think that challenge-based learning has a lot of potential, especially regarding working, collaborating, and learning in teams. When you bring them together in a challenging environment, bring in different stakeholders, stakeholders from the outside world. So we believe in that embeddedness within an ecosystem. So it's more or less like a co-creation process, which they will experience in the outside world whenever they start working as an engineer. And that kind of culture, that way of thinking and working, we would like to incorporate in our education in 2030. Is that a good, is that enough answer for your question?
Yeah, some clarifications, but yeah, there is a lot to discuss there on how we are framing education and whether we should bring the society to campus or whether we should go out in the society and our students should be actually in the society. I think there are interesting things to discuss around that as well.
Yeah, I agree. And what's your opinion on that, Anders?
Yeah, I think the students' experiences from actually getting dirty, so to say, and actually confronting these challenges on site in the society is an important aspect. And maybe that is what you mean when you say that you bring the challenges to the university. But I think that real life experiences, students meeting people in their everyday life and really seeing and sensing the challenges that people are experiences, I think, or that is at least something that we try to create. It's difficult, but I think that is something to strive towards.
Yeah, I think we want to. to emphasize the 24/7 idea of learning. So instead of having fixed times at which you go to university or you study, we imagine that students might learn whenever they want to, and maybe we overemphasize that at the cost of the real world. Yeah.
But Anders also mentioned technology.
We just assumed, we just assumed that technology would develop at quite a fast pace, and that it would be available to everyone.
I see Anna and Ramon, you have your hands raised. Anna, you were the first one, I think. Do you have something to add to this discussion?
Yes, I just wanted to comment that I do understand Anders' comment on whether students should be in the society or whether we should bring society to us. I don't think, I mean, like when I look at the projects that we have, at least the project that I'm involved, I do see that the students go out into society, but then the university serves as a hub for converging. You know, they need a place to come back together as an interdisciplinary team to align. And that's important. And I that's also the way I interpreted the Park of Technology in the video, as facilitating that convergence between the students and ideas. I see that our students, even though we have the challenge come to us, they equally as well go out into society. They interact with the challenge owners in the real world. They visit hospitals, they visit, you know, they interact with the users. So we don't have a classroom, like a traditional classroom anymore. So I do feel strongly that we're moving in that direction where the students are more and more going outside than staying inside the university.
Thank you, Anna. So the learning hub, a university as a learning hub, bringing the outside world in, and vice versa.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I totally agree with that one. And Ramon, I see your hand is raised as well. Please add something.
Yeah, but about this interaction with society, which is key, I would like to comment about the need of some maturity in the students to do that in the right way. So do the need finding an ideation phase for a challenge. If the students is really, in my opinion and in my experience, really needed that they have a given basis at the moment they do that. So being in the last year of the bachelor or in the master, at least because what they do in previous courses is quite trivial. And then this linked with what Clement said before. How do we give the basis in a very strong way in order to because that kind of activities for challenge-based are in an upper level in the pyramid, no? And they need, in my opinion, a lot of maturity to get a benefit on that. If not, it can be frustrating.
So is this also a question about how to ensure the quality of learning? How to ensure this, for instance, with assessment? Because that was also one of the challenges we selected for ourselves. And I know Anna is working, for instance, on the assessment of challenge-based learning. Can you perhaps give some explanation on this issue, Anna? How to ensure the quality?
Well, yeah. Yes, that's an issue, of course, ensuring quality. What we have observed, at least in the research that we have conducted on assessment, is that the students that are engaged in challenge-based learning, in the eyes of their respective programs, they are performing or delivering like reports or projects of a lesser quality. But that's because they're being assessed by the same criteria and the same procedures as students that are not engaged in challenge-based learning. So I think in terms of delivering quality, I think that we need to start by rethinking how are students assessed and what is the basis for assessment. And I think that links back again to my first comment on that if we want students to engage at that program level, at the university level, then we have to, you also have to address assessment in there to make sure that that's well aligned with what is expected of the students. If you have students engaged in challenge-based learning, then you also have to take into account the learning that comes out of that learning experience. And now I also have a comment on that because, so it's not only quality, but I also think that one of the challenges is that we also need to make a shift between pass, no pass, or grades, no grades, which I also agree it's important in for quality. But I also think that we miss a lot the focus on growth and development of the students. And I think that challenge-based learning is very strong for that, to helping students develop broader professional skills. And I think that assessment can be a very powerful tool for that along the process. So not only for summative assessment, but also if you make sure that you have like the right coaching, the right feedback for students, that if you teach them how to self-reflect, how to conduct self-directed learning, that can be very powerful for assessment as well. So it's a double commentary. I hope that we don't only focus on the quality aspect, but I also hope that we focus when talking about assessment on how it can help students in the growth and development.
Thank you, Anna. This relates also, I think, to the concept of constructive alignment that we use often now.
Yes, yes, indeed. And at least...
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
No, I see two hands raised, but please continue with your sentence, Anna.
No, so that's also that. So what I wanted to say is that at the moment, of course, we focus on constructive alignment and it's more on the project or module level. But then I think it has to be part of a broader, bigger discussion at the curriculum level.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Yeah. Isabel, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, I wanted to add something about curriculum assessment. At the moment, at PFL, we have not CBL. We have some interdisciplinary project. And I am making some state of how our students, and I make surveys with alumni. And in the surveys that I sent to alumni, there are questions such as, how do you assess your level of knowledge at the end of your training at OPFL? How do you assess your level in these transversal skills and so on? And I think it's a way to have to assess CBL. It's some years later to send such a questionnaire to alumni and to see how they what regard they have on the training in what CBL has. Was it a plus for them? How do they find this after the training? And that was what I wanted to add. And surveys that I made at PFL, alumni said that they wished more interdisciplinary projects in their training. So it's something interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I was wondering, can you reflect on that perhaps, because you are working within the university on a new way of assessment, new methods of assessment, and also on how to ensure the quality?
Yes, but it's a work in progress, Michael. If you talk about implementing CBL, what already is much discussed is assessment, and especially our exam committees are very rigid because they worry about a couple of aspects. First, they are used to individual assessments instead of group assessment. So there's one point of worrying about it. They worry about our fantasy, and they worry about the decreasing of the importance of rigorous knowledge. So these are our starting points. If you take it to respect to the exam committees, you have to change their a way of looking at assessment and a way of looking at CBL. So you mentioned constructive alignment. Well, I think we have to start to make clear what that means for our curriculum, and how the different stakeholders in our society, like teachers, but also exam committees, well, what if the impact it has on assessment. So we have to talk to a lot of people. We have to start writing down a vision, and well, and that I hope that it will change some rigid look at assessments at this time, at this moment.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very difficult aspect of CBL to tackle.
Yeah, I agree, and I hope, because I see that we have come to an end of this session, that we will be doing in the next years a lot of experimentation. We would like and love to share our knowledge together with you and share some experiences also on your side, because I know that some of you are also experimenting with challenge-based learning. So please let us know if you have any questions after this session. And on behalf of all my colleagues, I would like to thank you very much for the interesting discussions we had. I like the fact that we selected in advance 4 challenges, but it became one big discussion in which we touched upon all these challenges plus a little bit more than that. So I would like to thank you for that, and would like to invite you to keep in touch. Let us know if you have any questions, and I hope we can contact you if we have any questions for you.
Of course. Thank you very much for organizing this roundtable. It was very interesting. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's very interesting.
Bye-bye.
And I look forward to keeping
Okay.
in touch.
It was a good moment. Thank you.
Okay, the same applies for us. Have a good ending of the CDIO conference and a good day.
Good day.
Bye-bye.